I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, a scientific healer, and today I'm going to give you some tips on how to choose the right energy healer. And no, it doesn't have to be me. It can be someone that it's every healer has different things. So the number one thing for picking the right one is you must be able to trust them and have some sort of rapport. And that is all about engaging your own intuition. A lot of people, when they come to seek me, for example, they're really, really desperate and they just want to believe something, but I really would like them to, shop around and find out, am I the right one or not, get references and so on. So that's the first tip, is to make sure that that healer has references or testimonials and not just the touchy-feely kind, oh yeah, I had a great conversation and I felt so good afterwards. You don't need to be a healer for that, but that they really did some very specific things. And the second thing is and sometimes when you're speaking to them, make sure that nothing hits you kind of off. So I have a lot of stories from people that have come to me after having an engagement with another healer. And I was actually at a networking meeting, and this is just like one of those cases. This healer had approached this woman without being asked, is it okay if I talk to you about this? And she just did a reading on her and then told her she had to come and see her because that was her only way out of that situation. And that woman, who was a bright businesswoman, intelligent, can make her own decisions, she started crying, and I walked up to her and I said, so what just happened? And she said, and so she told me that story. And I told her that if you don't want to, you don't have to. That was just really poor advice from that healer, because nobody really needs us. We're optional, right? Nobody really needs us. And but people want us because we can effect good change. So that's why I'm talking about this, is for you to look out and what to watch for. And if you're a healer yourself, this is what not to do when you're talking to your potential clients. So one of the things that I'm really careful about, and there are other healers that are really careful about this, is to not interfere with your medical, with your doctor and your medical advice and your medications and what you're allergic to or not allergic to, or what you're able to do and not able to do. And I am of the opinion that we need to work in partnership with doctors. You need to have a good doctor. If you have a poor doctor, find a new doctor. Just like if you have a poor healer, find a new healer. So I have seen healers tell people they can eat that food because they're no longer allergic to it, and then they have a psychotic episode, right? So that is rule number one. If your healer says, oh, you're fine, that's somewhere to lift, to really pay attention to, that person is interfering with your medical care. And if they tell you you don't need blood pressure pills anymore, or cholesterol pills or any other kind, that you're no longer diabetic, not just walk, but run in the other direction, because that is extremely dangerous, and it's practicing medicine without a license, unless, of course, your healer is your doctor. So here's some other things to look out for, is if they're being really pushy or insistent or making it sound like this is the last resort for you, to go elsewhere. Another one is, are they a good representation of their art? If they are a person that, the easiest way to say that is it like a fat diet doctor or a smoking heart doctor, right? Do they look healthy? Do they look happy? Do they, and we all have bad days. Like right after my mom died and I was worried about my dad, it was kind of difficult to be happy and balanced, but I got back there pretty quickly. So are they a good representation of their art? If they are not, like if somebody is going to help you lose weight, are they way overweight? It could be that they're way overweight and they used to weigh twice as much, right? So you really need to look deeply into what's going on. Like, do they look the way you want to look? Are they happy the way you want to be happy? Are they healthy the way you want to be healthy? And so that's the real question. Like if you go to a pain doctor, do they have pain or are they pain free, right? Those are one of the questions you really need to ask. And so the other one is to make sure that they have references or testimonials, like real cases, especially something that is related to what you want done. And if there isn't one, then when you get on the phone with them, ask them, is that have they helped somebody with your particular case? If they say no, it doesn't necessarily mean they can't help you. But if they say no, what it really is saying is that speaks very highly of their integrity, that they are telling you the truth. And when I haven't handled a specific case, I will tell them I can't promise that particular not like they can't just always promise that everything's going to be cleared. You can't promise any of that. Like there's no guarantee because energy healing is a collaborative effort. It's your effort and my effort, or the healer that you hire's effort. And another one is, will they follow up with you afterwards? Do they build follow-ups into the program? And another one that's really scary is, are you going to be fixed after one healing? And that just energetically, it can't happen. It takes approximately 90 days, for example, to reprogram your old habits into new ones. And that's because the energy takes about 90 days for it to reroute and to stay rerouted. Right? And that's the way it works. It takes about 90 days. So I have built in 90 days of follow-up and make sure that whatever I did stays the way they were energetically. And other ones, and this has happened to me even here on Facebook, is when somebody does an unsolicited reading on you, like, oh, you've got this in your aura and you've got that going on. And that's also really scary because energy healing is really intimate, very intimate. It's like I'm reaching into the other person's energy field, and I'm extremely respectful of that and very cognizant of it. And I also make sure at the very end that I withdraw from their energy field and pull all of my energy out and make sure that you have your energy restored, like your personal energy, like that energy that you feel when you're like happy and awake and feeling vibrant and healthy. Let's see. And you can also ask them questions like, did they receive any training? If it's something like acupuncture or massage or any of the body work, are they licensed? Do they have all the proper training? Those are really legitimate questions because in most states in the United States, it is required that you are licensed to give a massage, for example. And would they pressure you? Like if they pressure you to stay on into healing. I've had actually a talk therapist, insist that I stay with them, but most of the sessions ended up her telling me her troubles rather than the other way around. And I thought, well, I must have graduated. So I said, well, I think I'm done with having sessions with you. And she kept saying, no, are you sure? No, you have to keep staying with me. And I'm going like, okay, well, then I thought, well, maybe she should pay me for the sessions, right? So you have to really understand that the healer is working for you and not vice versa. And everything should be voluntary. Like I never do the sales tactics. You know, we've all had sales training. A lot of us have had sales training. I don't do sales tactics. I just basically say, are you ready to get started? And if they say no, I say, okay, is there any way I can help you otherwise? And can I refer you to somewhere else, or can I make a suggestion? And they'll say yes or no. And anything that's not voluntary in energy healing won't work anyway, because it is this intimate process where you are reaching, like as an energy healer, you're reaching into them and they're reaching into you. So there has to be a level of trust. And if you're not trusting the person that you're working with, or if they're in a bad mood, you also have to ask, maybe we should reschedule. And in the end, there should also, you know, one of the things that's really interesting is that I have done a number of healings where the person insisted that that change didn't happen. And I was working with someone's grandfather, and he was in his 80s, and he had a case of cancer, and he was very tired and he couldn't do anything anymore. So he said, could you see if you could help him? And I said, of course. So I go over there and I do a session on him, and afterwards he says, oh yeah, she didn't do anything. But the next day he was doing push-ups and he was running around like a young guy again. So a lot of times you won't feel anything, but it's what happens the next day or 2 or 3. You may feel worse at first, and then you should start to feel better, because there could be a healing crisis happening. That's just a warning. But then there are a couple of other things that I've noticed that healers will do is make sure that when they speak to you in a language you understand, that you are very clear. They are very clear to you what they're going to be doing on you. Like, what is it that they're doing? And if they can't do that, then it's also, it makes people nervous. I've noticed that. And so when I teach healers, I have a healing program to teach healers. I say, just use really plain language. Don't use aura and chakra. I know that for us healers, it's everyday language. But the average person does not get that. Like when I first mentioned the word chakra to my parents, they go, what? Is that a word? So most people don't understand the language of energy healing. So if the healer is not able to tell you exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it, it may make you feel uncomfortable. It's not necessarily, but it's just one of those things. So that's all I have for today. So basically it boils down to trust. And one of the things that and reputation, and one of the things that I would suggest you do is when you go, is to make sure that you're very clear about what exactly you want to have happen. And I'll give you a really quick example of that. I had a client that came in, she's in her late 30s, and she says, I have a fibroid tumor and I just want it gone. So I did like 2 sessions, and then I followed up for 3 months. And at the end of the 3 months, it was gone. That's all she wanted. I didn't do any more than that. I just cleaned up all of the energy of what she wanted. I did not go into any depth of anything else that wasn't relevant to her getting that done, right? So you shouldn't have to buy like a really huge package of healings just to have, like, for example, getting a fibroid tumor clear. So be very clear what it is that you want. And if you're not sure, you can ask the healer to do a reading, but a healer cannot diagnose. They do not have medical equipment here. They might be able to see, like if they're clairvoyant, and they might be able to see your energy field and see where it's dark, but it doesn't necessarily, like seeing the energy, it doesn't necessarily tell you exactly what it is. When something's not functioning right, the light goes dark. Like if there's throat cancer, it'll look black. Or if there is a problem, like a fibroid tumor in the uterus, it'll go dark, but we won't know exactly why, because it could be cancer or it could be benign. And, we can ask questions and figure out whether it's cancer or benign, but then the suggestion should always be to go to the doctor. So we can't diagnose, we can't prescribe or tell you to stop your prescriptions, or even tell you to, that your allergies are all clear. Those all have to be backed up. So be very clear what it is you want to happen, and also work with your doctor. And if you don't like your doctor, get a new doctor, right? Later, I'll be posting it on my blog at scientifichealer.com/blog. It's really easy to find. You just go to scientifichealer.com and go to articles. And it'll be there in the next couple of days to have it like in some writing to go along with all of the talk in summary form. So it boils down to trust, knowing exactly what you need, and being able to understand what the healer's qualifications are, like how long they've been healing, what kind of training they've had, and any certifications or whatever licenses they need in your state. If you like this video, hit the like button below, or give it a 5-star rating. Share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.